Confirm that we have revisited the matter and discussed with the state on the approach for this area of evidence that is about to be led, my lord. There is no need for the argument on heads, based on the heads of arguments. The state can just bring the application as it was brought. We'll note our reasons for objection, and the court can just make a ruling based on that, without going to a separate application or like an interlocutory application, my lord, regarding that. Thank you, my lord.
Yeah, actually what surprised me, although we couldn't thresh this out because of time constraints, what surprised me was the order in which all of it was coming yesterday. There was an objection to a question posed to the witness by the state, to which question there was an objection. As we were still discussing the objection, heads were produced. And we left with an understanding that the other parties are going to write heads. I also found that we are not approaching that matter, that aspect correctly. And I think I would align myself with what is being said now, that we go ahead and do it the way the state is proposing. For me, the issue of the weight, even of the answer that the witness might advance, is very, very possibly a matter for argument as we go along with the trial. The other thing which surprised me yesterday was about the ticket, the flight ticket. Maybe I'm still going to hear from you, because my sense was that this witness is giving evidence, and after he gives evidence, there shall be an opportunity for cross-examination, and if there is anything that might be warranted for purposes of cross-examination through the state, the witness might be informed. But I found myself being told about a ticket, a flight ticket, and so forth. Of course, yesterday there was no time to thresh all that out. In any case, I think I should give the opportunity to Mr. Baloyi to proceed.
As the court pleases. Mr. Madlala, you indicated in your evidence that you felt a measure of discomfort in being in the same room with the person who was in the house, and you indicated in your evidence that that was the reason why you requested an adjournment on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Uthe uma usho ngamazwi akho ke ukuthi ubunyanyile ukuthi ube esendlini eyodwa noma egumeni elilodwa nalo yamuntu owayesendlini, ingakho nje wacela leya ngolwesibili.
Yebo.
That is correct.
Yes.
Selokhu waqala lelicala angazi ngihlale nabafowethu ngibabone kanje. Ngiyaqala nje ukubabona ngamehlo kanje.
Ever since the matter started, I've never sat with the gentlemen like this. This is the very first time that I'm seeing them like I'm seeing them now.
If you say the gentleman who are referring to,
Uma ukhuluma ngabafethu ukhuluma ngobani?
Ma suspect lawo.
The suspects.
Yes, proceed.
Yebo?
Proceed ngiqedelela kuphi?
Yes, you say it's for the first time that you see them in person. Who is this person that made you feel uncomfortable in court?
Na njengoba ubushilo-ke izolo-ke ukuthi ubunyanyileke ngokuthi ube nesendlini eyodwa nalo muntu wayesendlini. Ubani lo muntu lo okunyanyisile?
Kwi-statement sami ngike ngachaza futhi noma ngasaningi ukuthi if ngingambona umuntu ngingamkhomba mina.
In my statement, I made mention that if I were to see the person, I would be able to point the person out.
Yes?
Yes, may I
And
proceed?
okubuhlungu njengoba le case iqhubeka mina anginandaba nabantu anginandaba nomndeni wakaSenzo engikwenza ngikwenzela uSenzo mina angikwenzeli omunye umuntu.
All right. And the sad part is that with the trial going on, my lord, I don't care about people. I don't care about the Senzo's family. What I'm doing it for Senzo.
Yes.
Yep.
And then into njengoba ngigila ngeke ngivele ngisukele ngize enkantolo ngizokhuluma into engekho. Reason why ngiphendula ngikhuluma nje ngiphendula kanje because ngikhuluma into engiyaziyo engangikhona yenzeni.
Okay. The other thing is, my lord, I won't come from where I'm coming from and come and tell something here which is not true. I am here telling something that I know, something that happened in my presence.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And enye into umuntu noma ungambona umuntu mawawambona ngaphambilini angeke uhluleke ukumbona futhi masumbona kanje eduze angeke.
If you saw a person, or it happens that this is someone that you'd seen before, if now you meet this person again and you see this person in front of you, it won't be difficult for you to identify or to recognize that person.
Yes?
And angeke ngisuke ngiqambele umuntu amanga ekhasini kanje mina. Ngeke ngivele ngiqambele umuntu amanga ekhasini kanje. Naye uyazi futhi.
And I won't tell lies about a person in a matter like this. Even that person knows.
Yes?
Yes, may I proceed?
Not correct.
Ukuthi ngiyathuka ngoba bachitha isikhathi esingaka bafaka impilo zethu enkingeni sizondwa abantu but uyazi.
Object to that. I don't know whether this is still part of the description
as-
of
as
the
the court
evidence
pleases.
we're dealing about.
As the court pleases, we'll get to the point. Mr. Madlala, if you can perhaps state or inform the court who is this person that made you uncomfortable.
Uyacela nje ukuthi mfethu ke uye nje ngo odabeni ke ukuthi utshele nje inkantolo ukuthi ubani lo muntu lona owakwenza ukuthi awunyanye.
Nayo blue screen.
Yes, this man with the blue t-shirt or green
Yiyo
t-shirt.
la ibanje usenza isandla.
He's the one that was held
Leya
by
yenza
Senzo.
intshebe.
Sorry?
Yona leya yenza intshebe leya ikhatha intshebe.
He's the one who had the cut beard that was cut or shaved.
Lordship, the defense raised in objection for the identification of the accused from the dock because it doesn't hold weight, Your Lordship. Moreover, there was no identification parade with regard to the accused before the court. We humbly request a ruling from the court as court pleases.
Mr. Balu?
Lord, we are right to where we stopped yesterday.
Yes.
This morning, when the proceedings resumed, we came to an understanding that there are two distinct issues. the issue of admissibility and the issue of the weight to be attached to the evidence of dog identification. And that as far as the first issue is concerned of admissibility, that the state can go ahead and leave that evidence, and that at the end of the case, then argument will be presented on the weight to be attached to such evidence.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I understood the arrangement to be, my lord. But as we indicated, we're more than ready to argue the matter.
Your Lordship, with due respect, the state is missing the point. Procedurally, we said, Your Lordship, we're going to object. The state is entitled to do whatever it does with its witness, but we are entitled to object, and the court will make a ruling. We're just following the procedure, Your Lordship. It's not like we agreed that the state must just do whatever they want and we cannot object. Yes, the court, this is.
Yes.
My lord, we also submit that we know it's the state is allowed, my lord, to lead the witness or to do the identification through the dog identification. However, the reasons why the defense is objecting from the inception of this evidence,
Yes.
it is because of the process that has been followed in the identification of the person who has been identified through the dog identification, my lord, without wasting the court's time, from the description that was given by the witness at the police station after the arrest of the accused who are before this court. This witness was never taken to do a formal identification parade in terms of Section 37 of the criminal procedure, my lord, and is only allowed today to come and do a dog identification. My lord, the case law is clear to say even if a witness can be so confident about the observations and the identification of the accused, but there is a risk of a mistaken identity. That is why, my lord, we are bringing these reasons for objection at the inception to say this witness is not reliable on the observations that he has said regarding the circumstances, my lord, and the risk that he was seeing the accused for the first time when he was shocked at the time when he identified this person. And today he wants to come and claim to say he was able to identify the accused before this court properly when he was not. Those are my submissions, my lord, to say from the inception we are raising the objections, my lord. However, the court may rule as the court pleases.
Yes.
Can I respond to
Yes.
those submissions, my lord?
Yes.
My lord, we don't want to repeat ourselves, but we've indicated that there are two distinct issues that should not be conflated: admissibility on the one hand and weight. What I heard from Advocate Nshololo now is the weight that should be attached to the evidence, and that is the issue that will be argued right at the end of the case as to the weight to be attached to the evidence. At this point, it's solely about admissibility. And my lord, we know the rules regarding admissibility. Any evidence that is relevant, it's admissible. We know the section, and I don't want to go into details, but all I'm saying is that any evidence that is relevant, and here relevance refers to evidence that can help the court to determine the issue that are in dispute. Sometimes a distinction is made by reference to facta probanda, that is now the facts that must be determined, and facta probandum, the facts that are used to determine those facts that are in issue. And at this point, my lord, we are only concerned with relevance, and we submit, my lord, that this evidence is relevant. It will help to determine the identity of the persons who broke into the Tumelo's house, and the evidence has already been placed on record, and the weight to be attached thereto, my lord, will be determined at the end of the trial.
Yes?
Yes.
Is that all?
Yes, that's all,
Yeah.
my lord. As I
Yeah.
say, I don't know whether the court would want me to
Yeah.
go into a full-blown
I
argument.
am not going to give a conclusive ruling regarding all that is at play now, regarding the act of identification by the witness of the person whom he alleges to have entered the house and whom he alleges to have ended up in a tussle with the deceased, Senzo Meyiwa, and which same person he claims to have pushed on his way out. Precisely because it is an issue about the weight of the evidence the witness is giving. I think that much everyone agrees about. And we are not going to be held up by that aspect. I think the credibility aspect of the evidence, of all the evidence, is still a matter that is going to be considered by the court, and it is still a matter around which all concerned are still going to make inputs. If I were to remind you what you all know, after evidence will have been given, there will be an opportunity given to all sides to address court on verdict. And that is when issues of credibility, among others, come into play. And that is when full argument will be had on whatever aspect, including this one. And therefore, I direct that we proceed. And this issue, if it will still be an issue, then shall be fully threshed out to its logical conclusion, with all given an opportunity to address.
Ngokumayelana nalolu daba-ke lukafakazi lokuthi ethe wakhomba-ke omunye wabasolwa, ithi bayazi-ke bonke abameli ukuthi kwenzekani-ke, ngobunye-ke ubufakazi kusekugcineni uma ngabe bonke-ke sebenikeza izethulo zabo enkantolo. Uma ngabe inkantolo sekufanele ithathe isinqumo ekugcineni, bayazi-ke ukuthi kufanele benzeni, ila khona-ke isinqumo sizothathwa khona mayelana nalobufakazi lo. Kodwa manje inkantolo ithi nje sekungaqhutshekwa.
As the court pleases, my lord. If I'm not sure if it's already on record, which accused is it that Mr. Madlala pointed? if it can just be placed on record again.
Should you repeat? Sorry.
I think the state is buying time. Because the witness already done that. The state keep on indirectly repeating itself, Your Lordship. Because some of us, we are not allowed to repeat ourselves. The state, most of the time, is repeating. He's buying time, Your Lordship. And the state knows very well that time is against us.
Who is allowing repetitions?
I'm saying some of us are not allowed to repeat. Because if we repeat, the state will object that it's a repetition.
Yeah.
Yes. Hence, I'm objecting, Your Lordship, that the state is keep on repeating itself.
My sense is that whenever that happens, you will object.
Hence, I'm objecting.
My Lord, I qualify that I cannot, in light of the fact that there has been intermittent argument, if it's already on record, my Lord, I apologize to my learned friend, but I just wanted it to be clear on record, my Lord. But if it's agreed that it's already on record, there's no problem, my Lord, in moving on.
I think because it is clear for the sake of the record, the state can just make that submission for the sake of the record, then we are able to proceed, my Lord.
There you are.
Yeah, my Lord, I'm just not sure what Advocate Msholo
I think Advocate Msholo is saying what she is saying because you want to pick this issue just from where it might have been left yesterday.
Yes.
And without that context, whatever he's going to say will not gel well into the scheme of things around this case. And she's saying, if you were to repeat around what we ended up with, so that the witness can take it from there to go forward. I don't know whether
Exactly. Thank you, ma'am.
As the court pleases. My understanding is that reference was made to the person in a blue shirt. I don't know if it's already captured on record as to which accused is this, my Lord. And that's what I was trying to clarify, my Lord, as to, and it can just take us a split second, my Lord.
Yeah. You can hear Advocate is speaking about a blue shirt. Can you take it forward from there?
Ungakhuluma ke ngithi ukhulume ngeskipa esi blue.
Yep.
No. Ungasithatha. Ungaqhubeka.
Yes. Which accused is this?
Muphi ummangalelo noma umsola lo?
No.
Here he is.
Yeah, just which accused number?
Okay. Number one.
Okwesibili.
The second one.
Yes.
And you've already testified that this is accused number 2 is the person that the deceased held against the wall.
Yes.
Yes. Can you just, Mr. Madlala, perhaps just briefly explain to the court any special features that are outstanding that has enabled you to identify the accused?
Ungayitshela yini inkantolo kukhona nje okucacile noma khona nje okubonakalayo noma nje masasebenzisa igama lesilungu ama features akhona nje okubangela ube nesiqiniseko uthi okay ngaphambi yima.
As the court pleases, Your Lordship, the state is repeating itself. The witness yesterday, under examination in chief, before today, the state is like re-examining. The witness did give description. Hence, it is our humble submission that the state is buying time. as a court basis.
Well,
If needs be, we can go back to the records of yesterday. It will show that the witness gave description before today, Your Lordship.
Advocate Baloy, I don't want us to start and stop and start and stop. We ended in a somewhat engaging atmosphere yesterday. Whatever we were saying yesterday was being recorded. My observation until now is that you are not in a confident position to take it from yesterday, in which case I suggest that we adjourn. You listen to the latter part of yesterday so that we don't have to go with objections if needs be.
yes. My Lord, it's not necessary for an adjournment. The description is on record, and all that we're trying to do to show the connection between the description that was given yesterday and the features, the real features that the witness can identify. But if we can proceed on the basis that we accept the description that was given, by no means, my Lord, no problem, we can proceed.
With due respect, we don't accept, it's not about accepting the description that was given yesterday. It's about accepting that yesterday the witness did give description. That is our main concern, is that the state want to repeat itself.
So how does it take it from yesterday?
Your Lordship, the witness gave description. Now the state says we must accept that the description was correct. No, that is a matter of argument. We must accept that the witness did give description yesterday. Previous consistent statements generally are inadmissible. Now the state want to dwell in the same thing, Your Lordship.
Advocate? That's why I suggested you take a listen to what happened yesterday and then take it from there, because I don't think, from listening from here, I don't think you are in agreement about what was said yesterday. I don't think so.
And my Lord,
and I don't think we are at one page about acknowledging what was said yesterday and accepting what was said yesterday, which are two different issues.
my Lord, we as the defense have accepted the description given yesterday, and the dog identification has been done. The state must move on with other questions.
Yeah, but I don't see Advocate Baloy taking it from an agreeable point. That's why I'm saying you should listen to what has happened, what was said yesterday, and take it from there. Because each time it tries to do that, there's an objection.
Thank you, my Lord.
Which
Maybe
might be justified.
I think the state must be given an opportunity to go through, because we are now going back. He must just be given.
That's what I've been saying.
Thank you, my Lord.
As a court, please, my Lord, we all have notes of what was said yesterday, and it's not necessary to listen to the proceedings. We can indeed move on.
Okay.
And you have already, Mr. Madlala, you've already outlined the role that the person that you describe as accused number 2 played during the commission of the offense.
Ubusushilo-ke ukuthi lo muntu oqeda umchaza-ke manje nanjengommangalo wesibili ukuthi yini yena awayenza ngaleliya langa kwenzeka lesehlakalo. Ubusushilo ngithi. Yes.
As well as his description.
Wamchaza futhi.
Yebo mchazi.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Yes?
Mr. Madlala, when you were at the hospital, after the announcement that the deceased has passed on, did you make any calls, any telephone calls?
Ngalesiya sikhathi-ke usesesibhedlele emuva kokuthi nichazelwe noma usuzwileke ukuthi uSenzo useshonile, ingabe yini akhona ama-calls owenza noma ikhona i-call owayenza?
Yebo akhona.
Yes, I made some calls.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Awusitshele ngawo.
Ngafonela uSifiso Meyiwa.
I called the Testifies Meyiwa.
And who is Mr. Sfiso?
Ubani yena?
Umfowabo kaSenzo.
Senzo's brother.
Yes.
Yebo.
Ngafonela nabasekhaya ke.
I also called the people at back home.
Is that your home?
Ekhaya kini.
Yes.
Yes.
Ngibazise kwenzakaleni.
Informing them as to what happened.
If you say people back home, who are you referring to specifically?
Uma uthi ke nasekhaya ke ukhuluma ngobani noma ukhuluma ngobani?
Ngafonela uma no sisi wami.
My mother and my sister.
And were you using your own cell phone?
Awusebenzisa cellphone yakho?
Ngathi nganginayo airtime. Ngathi ngacela ifoni ngathi nganginayo airtime that day.
I think I didn't have airtime on the day. I think I asked someone's phone.
Yes.
And perhaps just two last aspects. If I can ask that photo 133 of Exhibit B be shown. It appears on page 100 of the bundle. In fact, from photo 120, so photo 120. You can start at 112, right through to 120, 112. Is on page 89, my lord, of Exhibit B. Can you just describe what appears there on
That's photo number?
photo number 112 of Exhibit B?
Awuchazeke ukuthi ubonani lapha kulesi sithombe?
Ngibona amakani otshwala.
It's alcohol cans a lot.
There's also page photo 114, as I said, up to 120.
Photo number?
It's 114.
Yes.
115. And I said right through up to 120. Did you partake of any alcohol on the day in question?
Ngaleliya langa-ke ingaba ekutshwala nawe uyingxenye yini?
Yebo, ngangingxenye abantu abasasiphuza ngabo endlini.
Yes, I was a part of people that we were drinking with inside the house.
Do you remember what you were drinking?
Usakhumbula ukuthi naniphuzana?
Yebo, ngiyakhumbula.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yebo.
Mina no Senzo sasiphuza Heineken.
Myself and Senzo were drinking Heineken.
Then ukhele phuza Smirnoff what lo kusemakanini lo give Smirnoff guarana or Smirnoff ice lo.
And Kelly was drinking that silver can, which is Smirnoff. I'm not sure Smirnoff what, but it's Smirnoff that which appears there on the photo.
Then umthoko beno Zandi. I think babe phuza Hunter's Gold.
You are very fast for me.
Sorry.
Okay.
You and Senzo drank Heineken,
Yeah.
and then
Kelly drank that Smirnoff, which is appearing there.
Smirnoff ice.
Uthi umthoko noZandi bephu- Okay, aslinda.
yes,
Umthoko noZandi bephuzana ibona?
Ngayiphuza Hunter's Gold.
Umthoko and Zandi were drinking Hunter's Gold.
yes.
Right. Can you tell the court what was your state of sobriety
Ngabe wawusisiphi?
when the incident happened?
Ngenkathi ke kwenzeka lokho ngabe wawukusiphi ke isimo? Angithi awuphuzile. So wawukusiphi ke isimo?
Ngasiphuzile but ngangiyibona into eyenzakalayo. Hayi ngoba ngangidakile. Sasiphuzile kodwa ngangiyibona into eyenzakalayo.
Yes, we drank alcohol. Not that I was drunk, but I could see what was happening.
No, my lord. The witness said, "Ngangiphuzile."
Sasiphuzile.
Yes.
Sasiphuzile.
Ngangiphuzile. Then that must be interpreted correctly.
Ngangiphuzile noma sasiphuzile?
Sasiphuzile.
Not
Beke ngakusho uqanisa njengoba ngimention ukuthi umuntu wayephuzana wayephuzani ngeke ngiphinde futhi ngithi sasiphuzile. Cause sengimention ukuthi lo wayephuza ukuthi lo wayephuza ukuthi okumele ngiphinde kaningi.
Must I repeat that all the time?
Cause
Because
sengimentionile ukuthi ubani wayephuza ini.
I've already said who was drinking what.
Advocate Mchololo, is it still subject to debate that he drank liquor? Because that much he say.
My apologies, my lord. I was actually speaking to the interpreter to say the interpretation should say, "I was drunk." I was not correcting the witness, my lord. I was talking to the interpreter.
The witness is saying now, but saying it's soft, my lord. I never said that. He's just saying to me now, I never said that.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes?
Can it just perhaps be put on record for clarity? It was interpreted as I drank, but I was not drunk.
Angathi kuzovele ngichaze kanje yebo sasiphuza endlini.
Yes, we were drinking in the house.
Kuzwakala kangcono.
Maybe it sounds better.
Yes. But you
Honestly, I think state is really wasting the cost time. The witness put it he says, "Saspuzile." It's what the defense of number 3 want to say. It means saspuzile means you were drunk. It's what the defense of number 4 want to say.
You are literally putting words into the witness's mouth.
With due respect, Your Lordship, can you just play that part?
I'm not Zulu, but Puza. I know what
No,
Puza is.
thank you. Puza.
And
Puza.
I know Puzile is drinking in the past tense. But drinking and getting drunk are not one and the same thing.
Your Lordship,
So
the defense of
don't
number
put words.
4, 5 says the
You
witness said,
will get a
"Sapuzile."
chance. You will get a chance to cross-examine him. Let him give evidence. If he is contradicting himself, note it. That's why you have a pen and the paper. Note it down.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Yeah. Yes,
I think it's
Mr. Madlala.
Yes, Lord.
You can hear we are now fighting because of what you are saying. There's an issue around what was done. drinking, and you had the interpretation by Mr. Tobane.
Yes.
He says it means you were drunk. Can you give us your side of the story? He is still going to cross-examine you, but can you give us for now your side of the story?
Angizomchazela. I will explain it to him.
Yes?
If ungathenga amakana ethu ngiphuza, ngiyaphuza ngithi. If sengiyichaza ngokulandelayo, angeke ngithi ngangaphuzile because ngaphuza amakana ethu or I3. So
I don't understand him. Let me start there. If I were to buy 2 cans of liquor here, of alcohol, my lord, and I drink those 2 cans, and now when I make mention of that, I'm gonna say it as in something that happened, that I drank the 2 cans. So what is he saying? I don't understand.
No, he's saying what you mean. You heard him. He's saying it means you were drunk.
Oye, wena uthi wawuphuzile, yena kuyashintsha ukuthi wawudakiwe.
Angicabanga ukuthi kube ngangidakiwe, ngangizokwazi ukusuka ngibalekele ekamereni, ngangizokwazi ukuthi sithathe usenzo simambise esibhedlela if ngangidakiwe, ngangizokulaliswa embhedeni musa.
I don't think that if I was drunk, I would have been able to run to the bedroom. And if I was drunk, we would have been in a position to take Senzo and transport him to hospital. Ekugcineni wathini ngombhede ngokulala embhedeni? Ukhuluma ngombhede ekugcineni uthini ngombhede? Wozalala embhedeni.
Babezwa ngangizolaliswa.
Okay, they were going to take me to the bed for me to sleep if I was drunk.
Yes, just clarify this matter once and for all. What was the state of sobriety?
Asikhulume ngalolu daba ke okugcina ke. So wawukwesiphi ke isimo ngoba uphuzile wakwesiphi ke isimo?
Ngangisesimeni sokuthi ngikwazi ukuhamba ngiyayibona yonke into eyenzakala ngangayenza noma yini.
Okay, I was my position was as follows, that I was able to walk to see what was happening and to do whatever.
Yes?
And just finally, Mr. Madlala, were you at any point after the incident placed in the witness protection?
Ingaba sikhona ke isikhathi la emuva kwesehlakalo la bakuthatha khona ke bakusa witness protection?
Yeah, sikhona isikhathi la ngaya khona kuyileyo protection la ngangikhona la ngangiswe khona.
Yes, there was a stage where I was taken there.
Do you remember more or less when was that and more or less when was that?
Usakhumbula ukuthi kwakunini?
Angisawakhumbula amadate, ngiyakhumbula kodwa indawo ngayiswa kuyona. Ngiyabakhumbula nabantu abangiyisa, ngiyakhumbula nebhune lazongilanda lingihlanganisa nalabantu, ngiyakhumbula konke.
Indawo uthona idate ongayikhumbula. I don't remember the date. I remember the place where I was taken to. I remember the person or the people that took me there, as well as the white gentleman that took me and to go and to take me to other people.
And for how long were you in the witness protection program?
Wawulapho ke isikhathi esingakanani?
Ngenxa yokuthi babe sebehluleka ukwenza into abangithembise zona. Nanokuthi bengihlala ngedwa eMlazi. So ngihlala isikhathi esincane lapha ya. I think boma 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I cancela le witness.
Because
protection.
they had failed, my lord, to keep their promises, and also the fact that I was staying alone in Umlazi. So I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I cancelled my stay in that protection program.
And just finally, Mr. Madlala, did you know accused number 4 before the number 2, sorry, before the incident?
Ngaphambilini kwesehlakalo lesike ummangalelo wesibili umuntu bukade umazi?
Hayi.
No.
Thank you, my lord. That will be all. See, my lord, it's almost time for the short adjournment. We can take an adjournment at this stage.
We are to adjourn for tea. I will request the three of you to establish the true position. You all don't recognize, represent yourselves. You, Mr. Balo, you represent the state, and your colleagues likewise represent the parties that are involved, the accused, the different accused, maybe together with their families. The incident this morning outside my door is uncalled for. We need to know whether any of the parties involved want somebody here who is not here for now. And if so, what I know is that Advocate Tefo withdrew. And from that withdrawal, I haven't received anything that that should belie the appearances I'm seeing before me. At the same time, I don't want an appearance that there are people that are being eliminated from participation in this trial. In line with the law, in line with the inclination of the parties, subject to the rules applicable to hearings before courts of law. Because the way it's coming, it's haphazard. It doesn't lend a good image to the whole process. So I will ask all of you to come together, find out whether what happened outside my door has to do with any of the parties who have an interest in this case. I've always been saying from the beginning that we all don't represent ourselves. We'll adjourn for tea.